Welcome to the Night System, Part 4. Before continuing, please make sure you've listened to Parts 1, 2, and 3 of the Night System. Tap the tab at the top right of your screen to start Part 1 before this section. Chapter 11. Living the Program, Sustaining Your New Mindset for Life. By now, you've learned how to use your subconscious while you sleep, to heal, create, and grow. But the real power of this book lies in what happens after you wake up. Reprogramming your mind isn't a one-time trick. It's a lifestyle. The subconscious mind is like fertile soil. If you plant good seeds every night but neglect them during the day, weeds of doubt will still grow. To truly transform, your waking habits must support your sleeping ones. That's how you build a permanent new mindset, one that works 24 hours a day, not just 8. 1. Guard your morning. The first 10 minutes after you wake are sacred. Your brain is still in theta state, the same frequency where reprogramming happens. In that fragile window, your subconscious is listening. What you do first will set the tone for everything that follows. Don't rush to your phone or scroll through noise. Instead, take 3 slow breaths and remind yourself of the identity you installed the night before. Say it aloud. I am calm. I am calm. I am creative. I am guided. Those first words of the day are not small. They're the password to your subconscious. When you wake up intentionally, your mind continues the work it started while you were asleep. You're bridging the night program into the day. 2. Protect your inputs. During the day, your mind consumes information just like your body consumes food. Every conversation, headline, and song carries energy. Some feed your vision, others drain it. Ask yourself, does this strengthen or sabotage my mindset? If you're reprogramming for confidence but keep listening to voices that amplify fear, you're undoing your own progress. You can't plant roses at night and allow poison ivy during the day. Surround yourself with content that aligns with your goals, podcasts, books, and people who remind you of who you're becoming. Your environment is your silent coach. 3. Repeat, but don't force. You don't need to perform your nightly ritual perfectly every time. What matters is consistency, not control. Some nights you'll fall asleep halfway through. Some mornings you'll forget to write your dreams. That's okay. The subconscious responds best to relaxed repetition. If you do it with stress or guilt, you're sending the wrong signal. Think of it like breathing, steady, gentle, ongoing. Even missing a few nights won't erase your progress. What shapes your destiny is the direction of your thoughts, not perfection in your routine. 4. Take conscious action. Every idea born in your sleep needs one thing to come alive: action. When you wake with inspiration, even if it's small or unclear, take one step toward it. Don't wait for certainty. Clarity comes through movement. When you act on your intuitive ideas, you prove to your subconscious that its messages matter. That strengthens the communication loop. You start receiving more guidance because your mind trusts you'll use it. There were times when I woke up with ideas that made no sense, strange images, numbers, even song lyrics, but I wrote them down anyway. Weeks later, I'd realize how those fragments connected to something I was working on. That's how the subconscious works. It speaks in pieces. Your job isn't to judge, but to listen and act. 5. Transform challenges into feedback. Even with a trained mind, life will test you. You'll still face setbacks and uncertainty. The difference now is how you interpret them. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" ask, "What is my mind trying to teach me through this?" That shift turns every difficulty into data. Your subconscious doesn't punish you. It guides you. If a door closes, it's because your program is redirecting you towards something better aligned with your new identity. This mindset makes you unshakable. Challenges become signals, not setbacks. 6. Recalibrate regularly. Every few months, review your progress. Ask yourself, what has changed in how I think and react? Which beliefs feel outdated? What new identity am I ready to grow into? Growth doesn't stop when one program succeeds. You can evolve endlessly. When you outgrow one belief, install another. The subconscious loves fresh direction. It's how it stays alive. Maybe you started with, "I'm confident," and now that feels natural. Your next step might be, "I'm influential," or "I inspire others." Each upgrade moves your subconscious higher on the ladder of purpose. 7. Rest is part of progress. Don't mistake rest for stagnation. True growth includes periods of stillness. Some nights your mind will feel silent. No dreams, no inspiration. That's not failure. That's integration. Your subconscious is absorbing the work you've done, reorganizing neural pathways. Trust those quiet seasons. Every seed grows underground before it appears above the surface. 8. Share what you learn. One of the best ways to solidify your mindset is to teach it. When you share what you've learned, even casually, you reinforce it within yourself. Tell someone how your dreams guided you to a solution. Explain how changing your nightly thoughts improved your mornings. You're not preaching, you're practicing reinforcement. The more you articulate your process, the deeper it becomes part of you. 9. Gratitude before sleep. As you end your day, no matter how it went, find one reason to be thankful. Gratitude is the most powerful emotional state for programming the subconscious. Even a simple sentence, "Thank you for today's lesson," resets your energy. It closes the day in peace and prepares the mind for another night of positive work. Gratitude tells your subconscious, "I trust the process." And when trust becomes your default, transformation becomes effortless. Your subconscious never sleeps. It listens, learns, and obeys. Now that you understand its language, you can shape it with purpose. Each day and night are connected. Input and output, seed and harvest, question and answer. When you live in alignment with your nightly program, life begins to feel guided rather than forced. Remember, every thought you fall asleep with is a seed. Every dream is a message. Every morning is an answer. You are no longer a passenger of your mind. You're the programmer. And as you continue to live this way, your life will quietly begin to resemble the dreams you once only imagined. Epilogue: The Awakening Within Sleep. There comes a moment in this journey when you realize the goal was never just better sleep or even success. It was awakening. Not the kind of awakening that happens with sunlight and alarm clocks, but the one that happens quietly, deep within you, while the world is still and your eyes are closed. All your life, your mind has worked for others, for teachers, deadlines, responsibilities, and fears. But now you've learned how to make it work for you. You've discovered that sleep isn't a pause in progress, it's a portal to it. Each night, your mind builds, heals, and creates according to the blueprints you give it. You've also learned something greater. Your thoughts are not just background noise, they are commands. Every word you whisper before sleep becomes a seed planted in the soil of your subconscious. Look at how far you've come. You began this book as someone curious, maybe even skeptical, about the idea of reprogramming the mind during sleep. But along the way, you've seen proof in your own life. You've watched ideas appear out of nowhere. You've felt energy where exhaustion used to live. You've started to understand that you're not a victim of your mind. You are its architect. And once you know that, you can never unsee it. Because now, when you lie down each night, you know that the darkness isn't emptiness, it's creation in progress. The subconscious as a silent partner. Your subconscious is always awake, listening, organizing, and guiding. The difference now is that it finally has direction. It knows what to build because you've learned to speak its language. Emotion, image, repetition, and trust. You've turned it from a restless worker into a loyal partner. When you go to sleep with clarity and gratitude, your subconscious translates those emotions into instructions. It reaches deep into memory, intuition, and imagination, assembling pieces of insight you couldn't see while awake. That's why you wake up with answers, not because of luck, but because your mind has been quietly solving problems while you rested. The truth is, this process has always existed. Every culture, from ancient mystics to modern scientists, has touched on it in their own language. Prayer, meditation, visualization, intention, all are ways of communicating with the sleeping mind. You've simply learned to unify them into a system that works, a bridge between the conscious and the subconscious, between thought and reality. The new way to live. The real transformation begins not when you understand this process, but when you live it. When you use your nights to program your purpose. When you let go of fear before sleep and wake up with faith instead. You no longer need to fight your old habits. You simply outgrow them. You no longer chase motivation. It comes naturally, from a deeper source. You no longer wait for inspiration. You meet it halfway, every night. There will still be ordinary days. There will still be worries. But now you know how to face them. When life gets heavy, you don't collapse. You reset. You rest, reprogram, and rise. That's mastery. Not perfection, but awareness. A note from experience. When I first began practicing this, I didn't expect it to change my life as much as it did. I only wanted clarity, maybe a bit more peace. But each night, something deeper unfolded. The pain I carried started to dissolve. Ideas came easier. People around me noticed I was calmer, as if I had more time, even though the days were the same length. What changed wasn't time, it was my relationship with it. My mind was finally working with me, not against me. That's what I want for you, because you deserve to wake up not just rested, but realigned, with purpose, with gratitude, and with your own power. The infinite cycle. The process never ends. Every night you plant new intentions. Every morning you harvest the results. It's an infinite feedback loop, a quiet partnership between your conscious and subconscious selves. Even when you reach new levels of peace or success, your mind will keep evolving. There's always another layer of growth waiting beyond the next dream. That's the beauty of it. You're not meant to arrive. You're meant to keep awakening, one night at a time. The final reminder. So tonight, when you close your eyes, remember, you are not sleeping, you are programming. You are not escaping life, you are sculpting it. You are not powerless, you are partnering with the most powerful force you possess, your own mind. You've learned how to ask questions that lead to answers. You've learned how to turn dreams into blueprints. You've learned how to let your subconscious heal, create, and rebuild what your waking mind once broke. And now, each night becomes sacred. No matter what happens tomorrow, you'll meet it with strength, because you built that strength while the world slept. The awakening. There is a moment, sometime after you begin living this way, when sleep and waking no longer feel separate. You begin to carry the peace of night into the noise of day. You stop trying to manifest and simply start becoming. You stop asking if it works, because you are living proof that it does. You've awakened within sleep, and that is where all great change begins. Now close your eyes, breathe deeply, and let your mind continue what your heart has started. Tomorrow, a new you will wake, the one you've been quietly creating all along. Author's note: why I wrote this book. I wrote this book because for years I lived like my mind was my enemy. I couldn't stop overthinking. I couldn't sleep peacefully. I carried stress in my body until it broke me. But in those moments when life felt impossible, I started noticing something strange. My dreams were trying to help me. They showed me details I had missed. They gave me ideas for my business, answers to problems, even warnings about my health. At first I thought it was coincidence. Then I realized it was communication. My mind wasn't broken, it was speaking. I had just never learned how to listen. Over time, I began testing and refining what you've just heard in this audiobook. I learned that if I went to sleep with fear, I woke with confusion. But if I went to sleep with clarity, my subconscious delivered answers. That changed everything. There was one dream that proved it beyond doubt. For months, I suffered from unbearable back pain. Doctors gave explanations, but nothing helped. Then one night, in a dream, I saw myself measuring the metal beam under my bed. The middle part was lower than the rest. When I woke, I checked, and it was exactly how I'd seen it. The bent frame was straining my back every night. Once I fixed it, the pain began to disappear. That dream reminded me how intelligent the subconscious really is. It sees what our conscious mind overlooks. I've since used this same method for creativity, for emotional healing, and for solving problems in my work. And I've taught it to others, people who once thought they were stuck, but who began seeing real change just by learning how to direct their minds before sleep. This book is not about control. It's about partnership. Your mind is not a machine to be commanded. It's a living part of you that only needs clear direction and peace. If you give it that, it will serve you for the rest of your life, even while you sleep. So tonight, as you close your eyes, remember this. You are not powerless. You are the author, the programmer, and the dreamer. Your sleeping mind is still listening, waiting for your next instruction. Thank you for listening, for trusting this journey, and for giving your mind the attention it's always deserved. May every night from now on bring you closer to the life you were meant to live. Sleep well, and let your mind work for you. Thank you for listening. Please subscribe and click the notification bell so you'll know when new Frogplum audiobooks are released. Books created to inspire, guide, and help you grow.